Okay, here I'm going to show you the weak acid versus a strong base titration. Here we have HF and we have NaOH. Here I made it a little easier now. The concentrations are equal. And then if we take a look here, if we're writing the equation, we're going to take out the Na plus because that would be a spectator ion. And we'd end up with F minus plus water as our products. So for the HF, if we started off with, let's go with our favorite 10 milliliters, but we can use whatever it is. We can figure out that if we had 10 milliliters here, we'd have 1.00 millimoles of HF. And then you'll notice since this is a 1-to-1 mole ratio, then it would also take at the equivalence point, it would be 10 milliliters of the hydroxide since the mole ratio is 1-to-1 that we have here. All right, so now we take a look here. So now we just need to do a little stoichiometry. So we notice that both reactants at the equivalence point, I'll write this here at the equivalence point, they both get used up. And then we do make some of the conjugate base, F minus. Okay, so we have none of the reactants left over, and now we only have the conjugate base left over. And so just like at the equivalence point before in the previous example, we just have the conjugate base left over. So we take a look and let's find the Ka value for HF. And I looked it up on the internet, and that was 6.6 times 10 to the negative fourth. And so that makes the Kb value for F minus 1.52 times 10 to the negative 11th. All right, so then what we want to do is we want to find the pH of the F minus that's in the solution. So we need to write the dissociation equation for it. So F minus is a weak base, so we always need to add water to the equation, double arrow. And then we end up with HF plus OH minus. Then we take the concentration. We want to find the concentration F minus. So we'll take, like we did before, we'll take the millimoles, which is 1.00 millimoles, and we'll divide it by the total volume, which was 20.00 millimoles. And so that would get us a concentration of 0.05 molar. So then we set up our ice table like we did before. So we have 0.050 and 0 molar, minus X plus X plus X. And then you set up your Kb expression. So your Kb expression would be HF times OH minus divided by F minus. And then we take 1.52 times 10 to the negative 11th, which is the pH, equals X squared over 0.05 minus X. And then we'll solve. And when we solve for X, we end up with the X is the hydroxide ion concentration. So we plug that in, and we get X equals 8.7 times 10 to the negative 7th molar. You negative log that, and you get the pH. So if we negative log that, we get the POH. So POH equals 6.06. So that means our pH should equal 7.94. So at the, this is 7.94. At the equivalence point, this would be 7.94 at 10 milliliters. So let's go ahead and do 5 milliliters, which is the, now instead of the equivalence point, which is the half equivalence point. So let me do a little erasing. So at the half equivalence point, we're going to use half of the amount of base of the equivalence point. So the equivalence point was 10 milliliters. This is 5 milliliters. So we'll put 5 milliliters, and we end up with 0.050 millimoles. So we're going to use up 0.050 millimoles. And then we're going to use up 0.050 millimoles of HF, and we're going to use, we're going to make 0.050 millimoles of F minus. Now, if we take a look, we have 0.050 millimoles of HF left over. We have none of the base, and we make the conjugate base. Now, if we take a look here, what do we have here instead? Well, we have a weak acid and its conjugate base left over. So now we made a buffer solution. And if we notice here, we have equal amounts of this. So if we actually calculated the molarity, so 0.5 millimoles divided by 15 milliliters total, we'd end up with both of these being 0.033 repeating molar. And then we can use an ice table to figure out the pH, which you can check on your own. And I'll go ahead and populate it right now. And if you take a look here, we have 0.033 molar of HF, and we have 0.033 molar of F minus, and then we set up the ice table. And then what we can do is we can use the K expression, Ka. So Ka would equal H plus times F minus divided by HF. So let's set it up then. So 6.6 times 10 negative fourth equals X times 0.033 plus X divided by 0.033 minus X. And then we can cancel out the minus X and the plus X because of the 5% rule. And then if we notice, X equals 6.6 times 10 to the negative fourth molar. And then that's equal to the H plus. And then so if we negative log 6.6 times 10 to the negative fourth, we can calculate the pH. And so in this case, this is the Ka, isn't it? So pH equals the pKa at the half equivalence point. And I'll show you using the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation in a moment. So if we negative log 6.6 times 10 to the negative fourth, we get 3.18. And then so 3.18 would be the pH at the half equivalence point. So you'll notice that, this will be a little less steeper curve. So the half equivalence point, the pH equals the pKa. And this is where we have the maximum buffering capacity because we make a buffer all along here because we have what do we have here? We have leftover weak acid and we have the conjugate base being made all along these points until all of the acid gets neutralized at the equivalence point. All right, the last thing is, let me go ahead and erase, and then let's show you how we got the pH at the half equivalence point with the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, or you could use it also at any point along these points. All right, so this is the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. pH equals pKa plus the log of the base over the acid. So the pKa we already figured out was 3.18 because that was the negative log of 6.6 times 10 negative fourth, which is the Ka for HF, plus the log of, and then the concentration of the conjugate base is 0.033. And then at this point, at the half equivalence point, the concentration of the acid is 0.033. And then so the log of the number 1, log of 1 is 0. And so that's how pH equals the pKa at the half equivalence point. You can find, using what we've already learned today, you can find the pH at any point along a titration curve.